Hi, this is Fred Ronner and Taylor Nedick, and our final presentation for Big Data in a Global Economy.
As Fred said, I'm Taylor Nedick. Our purpose and objective is to discuss the barriers to the SDG 9 and Target C. We're going to use the information from the Big Data in a Global Economy seminar and outside research to support this project. We're also going to develop an initiative to address the most urgent issues in Mozambique and the barriers that are caused. Now let's look into those Sustainable Development Goals. The Sustainable Development Goals are a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and improve the lives and prospects of everyone, everywhere. The 17 goals were actually adopted by the UN in 2015 as a part of a 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which was a 15-year to help achieve these goals. More specifically, we are looking at SDG 9, which we will go a little bit more into here. So again, more specifically, we're looking at the industrial and the sustainability along with the infrastructure for SDG 9 in particular. We're tasked with improving the infrastructure in Mozambique, and again, more specifically for SDG 9 and Target C. It's an important sustainable goal as the UN states. Technological progress is also key to finding lasting solutions to both economic and environmental challenges, such as providing new jobs and promoting energy efficiency. To put it a little bit more simply, to create a solid infrastructure and develop new outlets of sustainable industrialization that also foster innovation. In our country, Mozambique, could use a little bit of that as they are a little bit behind. Target C looks to significantly increase access to information and communications technology and to strive and provide universal and affordable access to the internet in the least developed countries by 2020. So in the fourth industrial revolution, we'll watch just a little snippet of this. So if you go ahead, Fred, at least play the first minute of it.
Shamba yangu ni nusu eka. Ile nimepatiwa na mzee. Kumalizia hii shamba ni mambo yote. Pesa yote mimi natoa wapi? Hapa kwa shamba.
Right now, it's estimated that over 1 billion smallholder farmers across the world. These small-scale farmers contribute upwards of 70% of the food that the world consumes. But a vast majority of them don't have access to an internet connection. When it comes to farming, the real expert is the actual farmers. And a lot of the knowledge and information that exists within farming communities is passed on through generations. We're using technology that farmers have easy access to, SMS. A farmer is going to sign up onto the system, and immediately we're going to allow them to interact with the system in the language that they are comfortable with a peer-to-peer model. When a farmer is seeking advice, a lot of custom algorithms and machine learning had to be created to be able to identify the value chain that's being addressed. So is this
okay? We can stop it there, Fred. So as this actually addresses with the fourth industrial revolution, it is the access to technology and data, artificial intelligence to strive that decision making. As it's introduced here with the decision making, it allows for these farmers to connect and pass down that information that's been provided from generations. Next. All right, so the role of big data. The internet is the key to modern business progress. A lot of the companies that are produced today are the bigger players such as Google, Microsoft. A lot of their worth is in data. Data can be the new oil. In lack of internet access is detrimental to processing this data, mining this data, storing this data. So it can be also detrimental to businesses, governments, and also individuals in communication, with a perfect reference of those farmers. Next. Now let's get into those barriers I was talking about. The bandwidth could be one of the largest things. As we know, if any of us dealt with dial-up, you have to be a little bit older, but getting internet to work with AOL was nearly impossible. Watching videos, downloading pictures, forget about it. 5-10 minutes. This is what Mozambique has today. 16 kilobytes per second per internet user. Obviously, this is an issue to access data, to process the data. It's not efficient. It's not efficient to communicate, to send videos, to do Zoom chat like we're doing now. So it obviously poses an issue with the growth rate and economic success of the country. Next. Internet usage. So Mozambique's internet usage is a little over 10%. So very few, as far as percentage of the population, actually have access and use the internet across Mozambique. So obviously this creates an issue as it's a communication thing. If everyone doesn't have it, not everyone can communicate effectively to each other, to others, across businesses. Again, Zoom, everyone's doing it for school. We're doing it for now. I do it for work. They don't have that ability because people don't have internet access and the ability to use the internet. And we're going to go over that next slide. Part of it is, well, next slide actually, but this one is for literacy. So the literacy can be a big component of it too, in terms of developing that infrastructure. It can be tough if people can't read and write, it's tough to communicate. So with the literacy rate in Mozambique, as you can see in the right-hand table, it's on the lower percentile, with most of the developed countries being in the higher 90%. Mozambique ranks in just a little bit over 60%. So that obviously can create some barriers in communication. Next. Now, this was the one I was alluding to just a bit ago with the smartphone affordability. So if you don't have that internet access, you know, it doesn't really matter. You need a smartphone typically to have internet access, especially in areas where the infrastructure isn't, you know, robust. Smartphone affordability can be a key factor to have access to actually cell phone towers and data. And they actually rank in the 8th lowest country. So this provides a huge hurdle and a large barrier. They rank at 11.6, with 100 being the most affordable. So it's a large barrier for the country, and the ability for the infrastructure to continue and to have economic success. It provides such a large barrier for the country. And this could be a domino that, if solved, it's not going to knock down the others. It could strive to higher literacy rates, more internet usage, etc.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about SDG 9 Target C and its effects on Mozambique. Our goal is to develop an internet infrastructure and affordability in Mozambique through UN, government, and corporate cooperation, with a long-term goal of growing industry, education, and overall quality of life. Tackling this initiative in Mozambique is going to be an enormous challenge. There's a lack of infrastructure, lack of trust of the government, and lack of just ICT tech to begin with. The results would be monumental for Mozambique. So let's take a look at the country and its political and economic and social structure. First, from the World Bank, the population of Mozambique is 30.366 million people. 60% of the population is under the age of 25, and only 4% of those people have internet access, versus 16% in Africa as a whole. The GDP is 14.934 billion in an economy that is largely driven by mining, coal, and natural gas. The GNI per capita for Mozambique is $480, only 4% of the global average of $11,570. Political, economic, and social issues can create a pathway or a barrier to successful infrastructure in developing and underdeveloped nations, similar to Mozambique. In Mozambique, all three issues tie closely together. Poor World Bank rankings, financial scandal, corruption, and social and climate issues have had a negative effect on what was a rapidly growing economy just a few years ago. The economy also took a big hit during COVID-19 because the lack of demand for fossil fuels, one of Mozambique's main exports, dropped dramatically. Now, as we discussed earlier, our three internet barriers for Mozambique are bandwidth, affordability, and accessibility. The internet speed is 10% of the global average, and that's mostly due to infrastructure. And affordability and availability are two other issues. As you can see from the ratings, Mozambique falls well below the global averages for both internet users per household and smartphone affordability in the Internet Inclusivity Index. This shows a direct correlation between affordability and internet use in Mozambique. So we put together a 5-step initiative. Mozambicans have a strong tie to their traditional values and local leaders. If we can get the local leaders on board, getting the community buy-in will be easier. So step 1 is going to be connect with local leadership to get support and buy-in. Step 2 is create availability by partnering with companies already investing in the internet infrastructure in Mozambique to restructure costs and plans to help incentivize the growth. Companies already having invested in Mozambique, like Loon, PWWC, they have a bigger stake in the success of the implementation. Additionally, early adopters, especially in tech, have a tendency to stick with the brands long-term. This could be a boon for the business of the tech companies and also for the device manufacturers. Number 3, partner with companies that have had success educating and developing tech in the African Union. Many tech firms are setting down roots in Africa because the long-term prospects are so high. Companies like Andela mix their business needs with the desire to grow the quality of life in the AU. This mix of culture and industry can be a giant boost to the economy in Mozambique. Next would be to adapt the UNIDO entrepreneurship curriculum to integrate tech-based study. This program is developing entrepreneurs in Mozambique by starting the process in 9th grade, running through 12th grade. It teaches them how to start, source, and develop a business, and adding a tech element to this program would create a new and exciting outlet for growth and in more modern aspects of their economy. Additionally, it would create innovation and entrepreneurs at the base level to grow organically from Mozambique. And finally, a national literacy program to benefit all of society. Simply, we have shown the connection between literacy and internet adaptation. This type of program would only support that. How this is supporting SDG 9, Target C. The support of SDG 9, it will develop a more resilient infrastructure and diversified industry base. It will create new infrastructure with the assistance of local leaders. It will build an internal culture of tech innovation and provide incomes from new industry to spur innovation and growth. In support of Target C, it significantly increases to affordable internet, creates universal availability of the internet, increases access to new information and technology, and creates a system for reliable information. The support we would need from the UN: financial support for ICT equipment implementation and construction. Partner with the government of Mozambique and the World Bank International Development Agency Association to ensure proper allocation of the $104 million grant given on September 9th, 2020. Due to a previous corruption scandal, $3 billion missing in 2016, that has apparently been untrackable. Extended oversight from the World Bank and UN will ensure the money is allocated to the proper program. It'll return trust in Mozambique's government to the United Nations and also to the World Bank. More importantly, it'll develop more confidence from its people. Third, we're going to assist Mozambique, or they would need to assist Mozambique in developing deeper relationships with firms already invested in infrastructure development, like PCCW, Loon, and Vodacom, as well as companies like Andela, who already have a strong history of tech education and development in the AU. Finally, we would recommend partnering with international business and economics experts like Thunderbird and the World Economic Forum for support. The vast amount of knowledge they could provide would be able to accelerate this plan for Mozambique and make it a true success. Thank you for your time. We really hope you've got something out of this presentation, and have a great day.
Thank you.